You ever had a moment where someone did you dirty and your first instinct was to clap back? Say something, expose them, maybe even ruin them. But then you didn't. You held your tongue. You stayed silent. And somehow, some way, karma did what you couldn't. And when it did, oh, it hit better than anything you could have planned, right? What if I told you that silence isn't weakness? It's a strategy, a powerful one, and sometimes it's the loudest thing in the room. In this video, we're diving into 5 moments in life where staying silent isn't just smart, it's necessary. Times when speaking up might feel right in the moment, but letting karma do the talking, that's when the real magic happens. Because karma, oh, she has perfect timing, so stick around. Because one of these 7 might be exactly what you're facing right now. And ask yourself, have you ever let your silence be your revenge? Or more importantly, what would happen if, just this once, you didn't respond? Number 1, when they betray you and act like they didn't. You ever had a moment where someone did you dirty and your first instinct was to clap back? Say something, expose them, maybe even ruin them. But then you didn't. You held your tongue. You stayed silent. And somehow, some way, karma did what you couldn't. And when it did, oh, it hit better than anything you could have planned, right? What if I told you that silence isn't weakness? It's a strategy, a powerful one, and sometimes it's the loudest thing in the room. There are moments in life when staying silent isn't just smart, it's necessary. Times when speaking up might feel right in the moment, but letting karma do the talking, that's when the real magic happens. Because karma, oh, she has perfect timing, so stick around. Because one of these 7 might be exactly what you're facing right now. And ask yourself, have you ever let your silence be your revenge? Or more importantly, what would happen if, just this once, you didn't respond? Let's be real. Betrayal hits different, especially when it's coming from someone you let all the way in. Someone you trusted, someone you never thought would do you like that. Maybe it was a friend who turned on you when your back was turned, or a partner who made you believe you were the only one, while they were entertaining someone else. Maybe it was even family, blood, who stabbed you where it hurt most. And somehow they pretend like they did nothing wrong. That's the part that messes with your head. They act so normal, so innocent, like you're just being dramatic, and that's when you want to scream, post receipts, expose them, clear your name, get justice. But sometimes silence is louder, and no one tells you that. No one tells you that silence, when done right, is its own kind of revenge. Because when someone betrays you and walks away like nothing happened, trust me, they've already signed a contract with karma, whether they know it or not. You don't need to tell the world what they did, because people like that, they always repeat themselves. They betray others too, and every time they do, they dig themselves deeper. Have you ever watched someone slowly ruin their own life just by being who they are? Have you ever seen someone lie so much they get tangled in their own stories? That's karma moving in silence. And your silence, that's what gives it space to work. When you stay quiet, when you don't react, when you don't chase revenge, you give them room to expose themselves. And they always do. Maybe not right away, maybe not where you can see it. But trust, behind closed doors, things start falling apart. Because betrayal doesn't come from strength. It comes from weakness, from insecurity, from brokenness. And broken people break things around them. Relationships, trust, their own reputations. Let them do it. You ever notice how people start to spiral when you remove your energy from them? When you stop reacting, stop defending, stop explaining? That silence, that's powerful. That's what drives them crazy. Because toxic people don't just want to hurt you, they want to see you hurt. When you don't give them that satisfaction, they lose control. And when they lose control, that's when karma steps in. What would happen if you stopped trying to explain yourself to people who already decided to misunderstand you? That question right there, that's freedom. Because sometimes the most powerful move is to do nothing. Let your silence echo. Let them wonder. Let them sit in the discomfort of your absence. And let karma hand them the mirror they've been avoiding their whole life. Because eventually it'll catch up with them. It always does. And by the time it does, you'll be so far ahead, so far healed, so far removed, their chaos won't even reach you. Number 2, when you're being provoked on purpose. You ever notice how some people just love to push your buttons? They know exactly what to say, what to do, to get under your skin. And it's almost like they get a kick out of watching you react. It could be that coworker who throws little jabs in meetings, just subtle enough to not get called out, but loud enough to sting. It might be a family member who always brings up your past, your failures, your insecurities, especially when other people are around. Or maybe it's that one person who keeps sending passive-aggressive texts, or making sarcastic comments on your posts, like they're begging for a fight but hiding behind a smile. You know what I'm talking about. The ones who provoke you and then play victim the moment you snap. It's a trap. They want your reaction. That's the whole game. That's what feeds them. Because the second you react, they get to play innocent. Now you're the aggressive one. Now you're the overreactor. Now it's, whoa, calm down. I was just joking. But you weren't joking, were you? And neither were they. Let me tell you something nobody really teaches us growing up. Not every battle deserves your energy. And not every insult needs a comeback. Sometimes the smartest, strongest, most savage thing you can do is absolutely nothing. Because when someone is trying to provoke you on purpose, it's not about the moment. It's about power, control. They want to get you off balance. They want to see you flinch. They want to see you sweat. But when you stay silent, when you keep your cool and don't bite, you rob them of that power and silence in that moment. That's dominance. That's self-respect. That's emotional intelligence on display. Because anyone can yell. Anyone can clap back. That's easy. That's basic. But keeping your peace when someone's trying to shake you, that's a whole different level of mastery. You ever see someone trying to fight with a wall? That's what it feels like when you stop reacting. It drives them crazy. They'll escalate. Try harder. Say even wilder stuff. Post more, gossip more, push more. Let them, because you're not playing that game anymore. Here's the truth. People who constantly provoke others are usually trying to distract from their own mess, their own insecurity, their own sense of worthlessness. And when you respond, you feed that emptiness. You validate their chaos. But when you stay silent, that silence becomes their mirror. Now they're left sitting with themselves, their bitterness, their games, their noise, and your peace becomes painful for them. You ever been so unbothered it made someone mad? That's real power. But here's the psychological trick. They don't want to be exposed. And when you don't react, they have nothing to latch onto. They're like a mosquito that can't find skin. They either fall silent or self-destruct. You just have to outlast the noise. So next time someone tries to provoke you with a slick comment, a backhanded compliment, or some made-up drama just to pull you into their circus, pause. Breathe. Say nothing. Let them sit with the silence. Because that silence, that's karma's waiting room. They might not get hit today or tomorrow. But energy like that, it always circles back. And you get to walk away untouched, not because you couldn't clap back, but because you chose peace over performance. Let me ask you, what does it say about your power if you can choose not to react, even when everything inside you wants to? That's the level you're aiming for. That's the level where karma works for you. And trust me, she's already on the job. Number 3, when you know the truth, but they're lying to your face. You ever sit there looking someone dead in the eyes, but while they lie to you, and not just any lie, but the kind where you already know the truth. You already saw the text, heard the story, watched it unfold, but they keep lying. Boldly, confidently, like you're stupid. Like they can gaslight reality right in front of you, that feeling, that burning, sick, tight feeling in your chest. It's not just anger, it's disappointment, it's insult. It's that deep sting of realizing this person thinks they can manipulate you, like they don't even respect you enough to be real with you, even when they're caught. That's when it gets tempting to go off, to slam the truth in their face. Show the proof. Burn the bridge in front of them and dare them to cross it. But here's the thing. When you already know the truth and someone lies to your face anyway, there's power in letting them. Because when you stay silent in that moment, you're not being passive. You're watching them choose who they really are. You're giving them the space to reveal their character with no coaching, no prompting, no confrontation. And what they choose, that's their karma in motion. You don't have to expose them. Let them talk. Let them lie. Let them dig the hole deeper and deeper while you stand there with your peace intact, knowing full well they're writing their own downfall in real time. See, when someone lies and you don't react, it throws them off. They expect the outburst. They expect the confrontation. And when you don't give it to them, that silence, it hits harder than any truth bomb ever could. You ever watch someone get nervous in the silence? They start backpedaling, over-explaining, changing details, filling the space with more lies because they're uncomfortable in the quiet. That's when they realize they're not in control. You are. Because truth doesn't always need to be shouted. Sometimes it just needs to be known. And when you already know it, that's enough. Let me ask you something. What's more powerful, proving someone's a liar, or silently watching them expose themselves to everyone else? Because the truth has a habit of leaking out. It doesn't need a mic, it doesn't need receipts, it just needs time. And time always reveals everything. See, when you stay silent in the face of a lie, you put yourself in the position of observer, not participant. You rise above the drama. You refuse to get pulled into their performance. And that silence, it protects your peace. You don't look bitter. You don't look dramatic. You don't have to fight to be believed. You just let the truth do what it always does, surface. And when it does, oh, it burns. Not just for them, but for everyone who defended them, who doubted you, who bought into the performance. Your silence makes the eventual truth feel louder. And that moment, that's when karma drops the curtain. You ever seen someone's lie collapse in front of everyone? You ever been in the background, quiet, while the very people who doubted you slowly come around, without you saying a word? That's what happens when you don't force the truth. You just let it breathe. And while they're still out there lying, still trying to control the narrative, still trying to paint themselves as the hero, you're at peace, because you know. And that knowing, that's more than enough. So the next time you find yourself staring into the eyes of a liar, when every part of you wants to speak, confront, prove, pause, smile, say nothing, and watch what happens next. Because karma doesn't just listen to the truth, she lives for it. Number 4, when you're being talked about behind your back. You ever walk into a room and just feel it? That weird energy, that shift, that fake smile, that awkward silence that screams, "We were just talking about you." Yeah, that. Or maybe you find out later, someone close to you, someone you thought was solid, has been out there running their mouth, telling your business, twisting your story, making you the villain in a tale you never agreed to star in. That stuff hits hard, not because of the gossip, but because of the betrayal. It's one thing when strangers talk, that's just noise. But when it's your people, your circle, that's different. That cuts deep. And your first instinct? You want to confront them. You want to blast the truth. You want to drag their name through the same mud they threw you into. But let me tell you something. When people talk behind your back, it's because they're already behind you. Read that again. Nobody ahead of you, growing like you, healing like you, elevating like you, has time to sit around and whisper about your life. That's not growth, that's not purpose, that's not confidence, that's projection. And their gossip. It's not about you. It's about them. Their jealousy, their insecurity, their boredom, their need to feel important by tearing someone else down. So when that gossip comes back to you, and trust me, it always does, what do? You go quiet. You let the silence speak. Because when you stay silent in the face of people trying to ruin your name, something powerful happens. You make their lies echo back onto themselves. You ever noticed how when you don't defend yourself, people start to ask questions? Why isn't she clapping back? Why hasn't he said anything? Maybe there's more to the story. And suddenly, your silence starts to plant doubt in the minds of their audience. Because the loudest one in the room is usually the guiltiest. Meanwhile, you keep growing, keep building, keep living. That's the best revenge. Not proving them wrong, proving yourself right. Because when you're really about your life, when you're focused on healing, on success, on peace, gossip feels small, like a dog barking behind a fence, loud but powerless. And here's what happens in the long run. Those same people who talked about you, they expose themselves. Over time, they can't keep their story straight. They gossip about everyone. People start to notice. And suddenly the funny friend who always has the tea, yeah, they're the one nobody trusts anymore. That's karma. That's how it works. Let me ask you something. What's more satisfying, shutting someone down with the truth, or watching them slowly lose credibility all by themselves? Because that second one, that's delicious. And the best part is, you didn't have to lift a finger. So next time someone's out there speaking on your name, twisting your story, laughing at your pain, let them talk, because you know what they say. Lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. And you're building an empire. You don't have time to argue with peasants over rumors. So hold your head high. Stay silent. Let the gossip pass. And watch how karma spins the block. Right on schedule. Number 5. When they ghost you after everything you did for them. You ever pour into someone? Like really pour. Your time, your energy, your love, your money, your support. You were there for them when nobody else was. You answered the late-night calls. You picked them up when they were down. You believed in them when they didn't believe in themselves. And then one day, they just disappeared. No fight, no falling out, no closure, just gone. Like you never existed. Like everything you gave didn't matter. That kind of silence. It hits different. It's not just confusing, it's heartbreaking. Because you sit there trying to figure it out. What did I do wrong? Did I miss something? Why would they leave like that? And your mind keeps replaying the memories, the good times, the vulnerable moments, all the ways you showed up. You keep waiting for the text, the apology, the explanation, something, but it never comes. And you realize they're not coming back. And that's when the anger sets in, that burning, boiling sense of betrayal. Because how do you ghost someone who was loyal to you? How do you vanish on the person who never asked for anything but gave you everything? It doesn't make sense. But here's the truth. People don't ghost because you were too much. They ghost because they weren't ready for what you brought into their life. You showed them a level of love, loyalty, and presence they weren't used to. And instead of growing into it, they ran from it. Because not everyone is built for real. And when someone disappears after you've done nothing but love them, that's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of their emptiness, their inability to reciprocate, their fear of intimacy, their pattern of using people and disappearing when it's no longer convenient. And you know what the most powerful response is? Silence. No begging, no chasing, no paragraphs, no closure speeches, just Quiet. You fall back. You reclaim your energy. You let them go. Because if someone can walk away after everything you gave them, let them walk. That's not your loss. It's theirs. You don't need to prove your worth to people who couldn't see it when it was right in front of them. You don't need to demand closure from someone who didn't even have the decency to say goodbye. And here's the beautiful twist. Life has a way of bringing everything full circle. One day they'll look back. They'll remember the way you loved them, the way you showed up, the way you had their back when no one else did. And they'll feel it. Maybe not in public, maybe not in a big dramatic moment, but in the quiet, when their world gets dark, when they're laying awake at night, thinking about all the people they pushed away. That's when your silence becomes a ghost of its own. And karma, she doesn't always show up with thunder. Sometimes she whispers, "Remember the one who loved you right?" You ever want someone to feel what they did to you without saying a word? That's what silence does. It's not weakness, it's dignity, it's self-respect. It's walking away without burning the bridge, but never looking back to cross it again. Because when someone ghosts you, they expect you to collapse. But when you rise instead, that's when karma starts clapping. So, if you've made it this far, I want to say something straight from the heart. You're stronger than you think. You've probably kept silent through storms no one even knows about. You've swallowed pain just to keep the peace. You've walked away when you had every right to burn it all down. And that's power, not weakness.